I never thought I'd be the kind of person who skips their own sister's wedding. Growing up, Anna and I were inseparable. She was the sunshine of the family, the one everyone adored. I was more quiet, reserved, always standing a few steps behind her spotlight. But I loved her, and for most of my life, that was enough. Until the wedding that IT started a year ago when Anna got engaged to her longtime boyfriend, Michael. Everyone was ecstatic. Mom cried, Dad opened a bottle of champagne, and Anna, well, she was glowing like she'd swallowed the sun. She asked me to be her maid of honor, and I said yes, without hesitation. I mean, what sister wouldn't? We spent months planning everything together. Dress fittings, venue tours, food tastings, you name it. Anna was meticulous, and I tried to be supportive, even when she got a bit demanding. She wanted the perfect wedding, and I didn't want to be the reason anything went wrong. But things started to shift a few months before the big day. IT began small. She'd snap at me for minor things. Once, I showed up 5 minutes late to a dress appointment, and she said I was taking this too casually. Another time, I suggested a different flower arrangement, and she told me to just trust her vision. I brushed it off. Brides get stressed, right? Then came the dress. Our mom passed away 3 years ago. It was sudden, a car accident that shattered our family. The only thing I really held on to from her was her wedding dress. It wasn't fancy or modern, but it had history. When I was a little girl, I used to sneak into her closet and run my fingers across the lace sleeves, imagining the day I'd wear it myself. When Anna told me she wanted to wear Mom's dress for her wedding, I was emotional but supportive. It felt like a tribute, something Mom would have loved. Except a week later, Anna called me crying. She said the dress didn't fit her properly and that the tailor suggested modifying it heavily. She wanted to cut it apart, remove the sleeves, alter the neckline, change the fabric pattern, basically destroy the original form I froze. Anna, I said carefully, you can't just tear it apart. It's Mom's dress. She sighed, annoyed. I'm not tearing it apart, I'm modernizing it. It's old-fashioned. I want to feel beautiful, not like I'm in a time capsule. I tried to explain that I wanted to preserve it, that maybe we could make a few small changes, but not completely transform it. She wasn't having it. Then she said something that still rings in my ears. It's not your dress, it's Mom's. And she's not here anymore, so stop acting like you get to decide what happens with it. That hit like a slap, that I didn't respond right away. I could feel my throat tightening, but I managed to say, then I guess you'll have to find another dress. We didn't speak for 2 weeks after that. 2 months before the wedding, Anna texted me. I talked to Dad. He says it's okay to alter the dress. He gave it to me. That made my stomach drop. Dad? The same man who'd promised to keep Mom's things safe? I called him immediately, furious. He sounded tired. Sweetheart, he said, it's just a dress. Anna's right. Your mom would want her to wear it. I wanted to scream. It wasn't just a dress. It was the last physical piece of Mom I had that hadn't been changed, boxed, or donated. When I told Anna I couldn't support it, she flipped. She said I was being dramatic and selfish, that I was trying to make her wedding about me. I tried to step back, told her I needed space. I still planned on attending, but I didn't want to talk about the dress anymore. That piece didn't last. The week before the wedding, I stopped by Dad's house to drop off some decorations. Anna was there with her bridesmaids. When I walked into the living room, I froze there. Hanging on the wall was Mom's dress, or rather, what was left of it. The sleeves were gone. The lace bodice had been cut and replaced with satin. The hemline was chopped short, and the floral detailing, the one part Mom hand-stitched, was completely gone. IT didn't even look like the same dress that I stood there, numb, as Anna beamed and said, what do you think? Isn't it perfect? I wanted to throw up. All I could manage was, you destroyed it. She frowned, her smile fading. It's better. You just can't handle change. I walked out, but I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just left. That night, she called. I didn't answer. She sent a dozen texts, half angry, half guilt-tripping. You're overreacting. It's my wedding day. Can you not make this about Mom for once? You're ruining this for me. I didn't reply to any of them. Then came the final straw. The next morning, I woke up to a message from one of her friends, a screenshot from Anna's private wedding planning group chat. In it, Anna had said, I told her not to come if she can't be happy for me. Honestly, she's been so jealous since Mom died. She just wants attention. I stared at the message for a long time. I couldn't believe my sister, my best friend, thought that of me. That's when I decided I wasn't going to. I texted her that afternoon. I won't be attending your wedding. Congratulations. I hope it's everything you want." She didn't reply. When the wedding day came, my phone blew up. Dad called. My aunt called. Even distant cousins texted asking why I wasn't there. I ignored them all, but the fallout. Oh, it was brutal. Anna posted a photo online, her smiling in the dress with the caption, "Some people can't be happy for others." But I had the best day of my life anyway. Half the comments were sweet. The other half, not so much. "Your sister didn't show up? That's cold." Family drama before a wedding? Yikes. People took sides. My dad told me I embarrassed him. My aunt said I'd ruined a once-in-a-lifetime day. I stayed silent. I didn't owe anyone an explanation, but inside, I was breaking. For 2 whole days, I barely left my apartment. I muted every family group chat, silenced my phone, and turned off social media. I told myself it was just temporary, that once the wedding high wore off, Anna would calm down and maybe we could talk like sisters again. But the silence hurt more than the shouting ever did on the 3rd day Dad showed up at my door. I could see the exhaustion in his eyes before he said a word. He didn't even take off his coat. He just stood there holding a small white box. "I thought you might want this," he said. Inside the box was one of Mom's hairpins, a little silver clip with a pearl at the center. Anna must have used the rest of Mom's jewelry at the wedding, but this one was left behind. I stared at it for a long time, wondering if it was a peace offering or just another reminder that I'd been cut out of the picture. Dad sighed. "You should have been there. She kept looking for you." I wanted to believe that, but the photos online told another story. Anna laughing with her friends, twirling in that dress. Captions full of hashtags about fresh starts and family love. No mention of me did I ask Dad if she seemed happy. He hesitated. "She was beautiful," he said finally, and that was answer enough. After he left, I spent the night scrolling through comments on her post. I don't know why I did that to myself. Every like, every congratulation, every "you look stunning" felt like proof that I was the villain in everyone's version of the story. Then came the messages, Aunt Linda. "Sweetheart, family is forever. You should apologize." Cousin Mia. She was crying before the ceremony. "You could have fixed this." Even Michael, her new husband, sent one. "You really hurt her. I hope you can live with that." Each one landed like a small bruise. And Owen asked why I stayed home. And Owen wanted to know that I'd spent the night before the wedding holding the ruined pieces of Mom's lace that Anna's tailor had thrown away till I kept them. I don't even know why. Maybe because it felt like the only thing left of Mom that was still mine. A week passed before I opened Anna's message. It wasn't an apology. It was just 4 words. "I hope you're happy." I almost deleted it, but my hands were shaking too badly. I typed out a dozen replies, angry ones, sad ones, calm explanations, and erased every single one. Nothing I wrote sounded right. Nothing could make her understand that my silence wasn't revenge. It was grief. I started dreaming about Mom again. In one dream, she was sitting at the kitchen table, sewing that dress. Her hair fell into her face, and she laughed as I tugged at the fabric, begging to see what it looked like. She looked up and said, "Don't fight over what's already yours." I woke up crying, not sure what that meant. The next family dinner was 2 weeks later. I almost didn't go, but Dad insisted, said it was time to talk. The minute I walked in, the air changed. Conversation stopped. Forks clinked against plates. Anna wasn't there, but her absence filled every corner of the room. Dad tried to keep things polite, talking about his new work project, but Aunt Linda finally said what everyone else was thinking. "So, are you two ever going to make up?" It's embarrassing, honestly. I wanted to disappear. "There's nothing to make up," I said quietly. "She's my sister, not my enemy." Linda shook her head. "Then act like it." That was the moment I realized something awful. In their eyes, my refusal to attend was worse than what Anna did. They didn't see the dress as sacred. They saw it as sentimental clutter. To them, the wedding was about celebration, not preservation. That night, I went home and wrote out everything I'd wanted to say in a long letter to Anna. I didn't send it. I just wrote until my hand cramped. The weeks that followed felt endless. The silence between us grew heavier. Sometimes I'd catch myself checking her social media just to make sure she was okay. Every post was a highlight reel. Honeymoon sunsets, matching outfits, new apartment decor. She looked happy, perfectly happy, and that hurt more than if she'd stayed angry. But the guilt didn't fade. I kept replaying the moment I walked out of Dad's house, wondering if I'd done the right thing. Maybe I should have just swallowed my pride. Maybe Mom's memory wasn't worth all this pain. Then one night, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address, just my name, written in handwriting I'd know anywhere. Inside was a single photo. Me and Anna as kids, sitting in front of Mom's old sewing machine, both of us grinning like idiots. On the back, in small writing, were 3 words. "It's still ours." My chest tightened. I didn't know if it was an apology, a truce, or something in between. But for the first time in weeks, I felt something shift. Maybe the story wasn't over yet. I couldn't sleep that night. The photo in the envelope, me and Anna, laughing at Mom's sewing machine, sat on my kitchen table like a dare. I turned it over again and again, whispering the 3 words on the back. "It's still ours." Who had sent it? Anna? Dad? A stranger? Whoever it was, the message had the opposite effect of what was intended. It didn't soothe me. It made me angrier because it made me miss what we'd lost. 2 days later, I walked into the cafe where Anna had asked to meet. My hands were cold. My stomach felt like someone had tied knots in it. When she stood up, it was like looking at a stranger with a familiar face. She hugged me at first, and for a second, I almost melted, almost believed we could pick up where we left off. Then we sat, and her eyes were small and pained, something I hadn't noticed in the wedding photos. "Thank you for coming," she said, voice thin. She pushed a cup of coffee my way like it was something she owed me. I didn't want to start with anger. I wanted to understand. "Why did you do it, Anna? Why the dress? Why?" I couldn't even finish. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, then looked down at her hands. "I was selfish," she said. "Hårt var så selfish." That admission should have eased something inside me. Instead, it made me tense. "You don't get to just say that and have it be enough," I said. "You cut up Mom's dress. You called me jealous in a group chat. You told people I couldn't be happy for you. Do you know what that felt like?" She flinched. "I know. I do. I've been replaying everything 1,000 times. Her voice broke. "I didn't want you there." The words landed like a punch. "You didn't want me there? Why?" She swallowed. "Because if you were there, you would have questioned everything. You would have asked why Dad seemed so relieved. You would have asked about the dress." She stopped, eyes filling. I couldn't go through that. I couldn't have Dad's shame on my shoulders when I was supposed to be happy. "Shame?" I echoed. "What shame?" Anna looked at me like she was trying to decide how much to tell me without destroying me. Then she did something I never imagined. She reached into her bag and pulled out an envelope. Inside was a folded receipt, yellowed and creased, and a small, official-looking slip of paper with a name and a price on it. "Dad sold her dress," she said flatly. For a second, I thought she meant it figuratively. Then I realized she meant it literally. I felt the room tilt. "You what?" I whispered. "He sold it," she said again. "I found the receipt in his study, by accident. I don't know when, months ago. I asked him about it, and She closed her eyes. "He said things were tight after Mom, that bills had piled up, that there were choices to make. He sold it to pay off something. I begged him not to tell you, because I didn't want to watch you die on the inside." My head was spinning. Images flashed through me. Dad, the man who used to hum while cooking, signing papers. Mom's laugh echoing in empty rooms. The lace, the hem, gone because of a calculator's finality. How could he? I said. How could he sell Mom's dress? Anna's hands were shaking as she pushed the receipt toward me. The name on it, an antique dealer downtown, and the amount. Not glamorous by any means, but a number that made my family's choices look mechanical and small. I confronted him, Anna said. And he broke down. He said he was ashamed. He said he thought it was better to let me walk in something that resembled the dress than to let you see the bare truth. He thought it would spare you. He thought it would spare us. I could feel heat rising in my face. "So, he sold the actual dress, and then you?" "I tried to recreate it," she said. "I hired a seamstress and asked her to make something that felt like Mom's. It was stupid, but I thought if I can bring something that looks like it, maybe we can all pretend the worst didn't happen. Maybe I could have that one beautiful day without Dad's guilt hanging over us." The anger seethed through me, but under it there was something else, a wild, hollow grief that felt almost irrational. "You're telling me you lied for Dad? For him? You altered a fake dress so you could walk down the aisle and not deal with him being a liar?" Anna's face crumpled. "I'm telling you I was scared. Scared of losing everything. Scared of Dad collapsing under the truth. Scared he'd disappear into his guilt the way Mom disappeared into the accident. I thought if I could keep everyone from falling apart, I'd be saving us." "You saved a day," I said, "and ruined a lifetime." She flinched as if my words hurt. "You think I don't know that? You think I sleep at night without seeing that dress in my head?" I hated every second of it. But I also hated feeling like there was nothing left of Mom that was ours to touch. You always kept things, and I thought, wrongfully, that sometimes you held on to the past like it was a weapon. The word weapon struck me. A weapon. You guarded Mom like she was a trophy you alone deserved to look at. You wouldn't let anyone share it. You didn't invite me to be part of it anymore. I felt shut out. Her voice rose and fell. So when Dad said it was okay, I thought, finally, she's letting me in. I let the excitement swallow the thought of anyone else's hurt. My throat tightened. There it was, a fracture that had nothing to do with the fabric and everything to do with how we grieved. You think I gave it, Mom? Do you have any idea how much I wanted us to be together in that dress? I imagined both of us in it once. I thought it would be healing. Anna's eyes were furious and tired. You imagined alone. You made it your thing. Even when I said I wanted to be part of it, you treated me like I couldn't understand. We were both yelling now, and the cafe's chatter dimmed into an out-of-body thing. People glanced up, but their faces were a blur. Between us was a web of hurts none of us had learned to speak. Finally, Anna put her hands over her face. When she lowered them, there were tears on her cheeks. I lied about you, she admitted, voice raw. I said things in the chat I shouldn't have. I thought if I convinced everyone you were the angry one, it would be easier. But every message I sent felt like I was prying a scab open. I felt betrayed, but there was also a burning clarity. Dad's sale of the dress reframed everything. The enemy wasn't just Anna anymore. It was the choices Dad made in secret, the way grief can warp people into doing things they don't recognize. So what now? I asked quieter. What do we do with that truth? Anna reached into her bag again, and this time, she pulled out something smaller than the receipt. A thin envelope with my name on it, in the same handwriting as the photo's message. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was another photograph, not of us as kids this time, but of Dad, late at night, sitting at the kitchen table, a pile of bills spread out, scribbling numbers into a notebook. On the back, another 3 words, I'm sorry, Dad. The admission was simple and human, and broke something inside me open that wasn't just anger anymore. It was pity, disappointment, a strange compassion for the man who had tried to fix things in the worst way possible. Anna looked at me with an expression I hadn't seen in years, fear stitched with hope. I didn't want to tell you, because I wanted to protect you from him. But protecting you made me the liar. I see that now. I wanted to scream, to weep, to laugh at how surreal life could be. Instead, I sat there, the receipt cool and flimsy in my hand, the memory of Mom's lace like a phantom limb. Outside the cafe window, life marched on. A kid on a scooter, a couple holding hands, sunlight on the pavement. Inside, our family story had just taken a detour I couldn't have predicted. I don't know if I can forgive him, I said finally, thinking of Dad's shaky voice when I'd called earlier. Or if I can forgive you yet. Anna's hand found mine across the table and squeezed. I don't expect you to, she said, but I needed you to know. And I need you to know I'm sorry for how I treated you. For the texts, for the humiliation. The cafe's clatter resumed around us, ordinary and unbothered. We sat in a ring of sunlight, both of us exposed in ways we hadn't been in years. The truth was out now, messy and uneven and human. As we left the cafe, Dad's number flashed on my phone. He'd called again. For the first time since all this began, I felt like there might be a path forward, however jagged. But there was also a terrible weight. Finding Mom's dress wasn't going to fix things. Confronting Dad wouldn't magically erase what he'd done. People have been hurt, Anna whispered. I have one more thing to show you, and led me toward the car. She stopped, took a deep breath, and from her bag, she pulled out a small, sealed envelope. This one was thicker, the paper softer, and on it, in Mom's handwriting, was my name. I stared at it, my heart pounding. How could Mom have written something to me if the dress was gone? My fingers felt clumsy, but I couldn't help myself. I opened it. Inside was a folded note, written on stationery I recognized. Mom's looping script, the slant I had tried to copy as a child. It read, to my girls, if you ever read this, remember you belong to each other more than you belong to memories. Love, Mom. Underneath, in a different hand, a quick, shaky scribble I recognized as Dad's were the words, keep together, please. Everything blurred. Tears came without permission. The confession on the folded paper trembled with simplicity. Mom had always wanted us to be united, not possessive, to share what mattered, not hoard it. I looked at Anna through the wetness, and for the first time since the wedding, I felt the outline of something like forgiveness. Not complete, not neat, but something that might guide us back. We drove back to Dad's house in silence, the receipt and the note both heavy in my bag. The confrontation had removed one layer of the mystery, but it had opened another. What did we do with the fact that Dad had sold the dress? How did we hold him and also hold him accountable? How did we stop letting grief fester into secrecy? As we pulled into the driveway, I felt the future waiting like a thin thread. We were going to have to follow it, together or apart. I didn't know which yet. When we pulled into Dad's driveway, every nerve in me wanted to turn the wheel and leave. The curtains were half drawn. The porch light still on though it was midday. The same small, tired details that used to mean safety. Now they just looked like guilt. Anna cut the engine. "He doesn't know I told you," she said. "Maybe he should hear it from both of us." I nodded, though my stomach felt like sand. Inside, the house smelled the same: coffee, sawdust, the faint lemon cleaner he always used. Dad was at the kitchen table, the one from the photograph, a mug in his hand. When he saw us, he froze. "I was going to call," he said. His voice had shrunk. I set the envelope and the receipt on the table between us. No more calls. Just truth. He stared at the paper like it might burn him. For a long time, no one spoke. The old wall clock ticked. Outside, a car passed. Then he said, "I didn't mean to betray either of you." "You sold her dress," I said. "You lied about it. You made me the crazy one." His shoulders slumped. "After your mother died, I couldn't pay the mortgage. I thought the insurance would cover more. It didn't. The dress was in storage, wrapped up. I told myself she'd have wanted us safe more than a piece of fabric. Then every month that lie got easier to repeat." Anna stepped forward. "So, you let me wear a copy and let her believe I destroyed the real one." Dad's eyes filled. "I thought if you both believed it still existed in some form, maybe we could move on. I didn't expect it to turn you against each other." I wanted to hate him, but the man in front of me looked smaller than the memory I'd carried, a man buried by regret. "You should have told us," I said. "I know." His voice cracked. "Every time I saw that box missing from the closet, I heard your mother in my head saying, 'Don't lose them.' And that's exactly what I did." No one spoke for a while. The three of us just stood in the half-light, surrounded by the quiet hum of the refrigerator. Then Anna reached into her purse and slid the note across the table. Mom's message. "You belong to each other more than you belong to memories." Dad read it once, twice. His face crumpled. "She must have written that when she knew the accident risk," he whispered. "She worried we'd turn grief into glass, something to protect instead of live through." I sank into a chair. Maybe we already did. For a long time, none of us moved. Then Dad opened a drawer and took out an envelope I hadn't seen before. Inside were two things: a check, small, symbolic, and a receipt marked returned. The dealer had bought the dress, then resold the lace and fabric scraps. Dad had tracked them down. What remained was a swatch of fabric, pale and frayed, sealed in plastic. "I found this," he said. "It's not much, but it's what's left." He handed it to me. The lace was yellowed and torn, but it was real, proof that some part of Mom still existed beyond stories, beyond lies. I pressed it to my chest, and for the first time in months, I let myself cry. Anna leaned against Dad's shoulder. He held her awkwardly, like he wasn't sure he was allowed. Then he looked at me. "Can we start over?" I wiped my face. "Not start over," I said. "Start honest." The following weeks were messy. Family dinners were half apologies, half silences. Some relatives never understood. They just whispered about the dress drama. But Anna came over every Sunday. We cooked Mom's old recipes, burned half of them, laughed anyway. Dad started therapy. So the swatch of lace sits in a frame now between two photos, one of Mom and Dad at their wedding and one of Anna and me as kids, covered in fabric scraps. I used to think I needed the whole dress to remember her. Turns out, all I needed was the part that survived. Sometimes I still think about that day in the cafe. The moment truth started bleeding out. It wasn't pretty, but it was real. Maybe that's the only way family ever really mends, by letting the truth make a mess, and then cleaning it up together. If you were in my place, would you have gone to the wedding? Or would you have stayed away like I did? I still wonder.